Okay, we're here with a 1500 point battle. Ogres versus Wood Elves. We have the Watchtower scenario, as you can see there, which is in the middle. Wood Elf player started a unit of Glade Guard and his caster in there. Ogres get to go first. For the Ogres, we have an Ironblaster over here. And if you come over here, we have a unit of Bulls, kind of a cockeyed unit of Leadbelchers. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't Bulls, that was Ironguts, then Leadbelchers. Then there are the Bulls with the caster in there. He's the unit that's painted black. The Battle Standard Bearer is in here with the Ironguts, and he's kind of in the second row there with that big red standard. And we have some Mournfang and one proxied Mournfang here on the right. For the Wood Elves, we have an Eagle down here next to a Tree Man. Coming over here, we have some Dryads. Unit of Glade Guard right there, and of course there's a unit there, and some, what are these, Treekin right down over here. On the board, we actually have quite a bit of terrain. I think we rolled max or went away. The little tissue is quicksand. We've got the sinister structure that's the statue. I forget what the statue's name is, but the one that shoots you. Blessed Barricade there. Forest, and then there are 3 forests and just a building right around the Watchtower. It's going to be hard to assault. We have a magic circle as this piece of paper right in front, and arcane ruins are the fulcrum here. And I believe that's it for the board. Ogres get to go first. They're on the assault, and we'll come back at the end of that turn. At the end of the Ogre movement, Mournfang just moved up around the arcane ruins here. We had just had some sideways shimming by the Leadbelchers. The Bulls moved up to help support the Ironguts, who managed to make a charge, not an Ogre charge, against the Watchtower. The Glade Guard did stand and shoot, and the Lord used the Hail of Doom arrow, but just rolled awful, so they actually only killed 1. And then the Ironblaster moved up just on the flank a little bit. During the magic phase, the Butcher tried to cast Toothcracker to raise the toughness of those Ironguts in there, but that was dispelled, as was Bone Crusher. He tried to shoot the Glade Guard in there, also dispelled. During the shooting phase, Leadbelchers couldn't shoot, but the Ironblaster was able to trace a line and kill. He got 3 wounds, but the ward saves on the Dryads were able to save one of them, so 2 died there. At the end of close combat, the Ironguts were able to push out the Glade Guard and did not kill the Lord. She didn't engage in the combat, but they beat them up, beat up a whole bunch of guys, denied them steadfast, and then they were kicked right out. So that's the end of the Ogre's turn. Good turn 1, going into Wood Elf's turn 1. Okay, at the end of Wood Elf movement, the Eagle moved up to try to just kind of slightly redirect the Mournfang there, get in the way. Dryads moved up on the side of the forest. It might be tough to see in there, but the Tree Man's actually inside, looking to stomp down on the Watchtower. And the Glade Guard are here. The unit of Fleeing Graveguard did rally, so they're standing there looking at the Watchtower. During magic, Wood Elves are able to get Curse of Honor here off on these Bulls, and Amber Spear was dispelled, targeting the guys in the Watchtower. Going into shooting. End of the Wood Elves' turn. During shooting, the Glade Guards opened up, and so did the Tree Man with his special shooting attack, and were able to knock off 2 of the Ironguts, who managed to make their leadership test. The BSB's in there, so that helped. That's it for Wood Elf's turn, going on to Ogre's turn 2. Okay, Ogre turn 2 movement. The Ironblaster moved up and is trying to get a grape shot on the flank of those Treekin. These guys stayed, obviously. I removed removed the tray, so they're sitting there nice and pretty. 4 of them left in the bunker. These guys just moved up because they had the curse, so they only did 1 movement, not to trigger difficult terrain. These guys were able to move up and try to get a line-of-sight shot on the Dryads down there, and the Mournfang charged the Eagle, as is expected. Okay, at the end of Ogre Magic, the Butcher failed to cast Bone Crusher on the small unit of Glade Guard there, and his Ruby Ring of Ruin as well dispelled. During shooting, the Leadbelchers managed to pick off one of these Dryads, and we had a misfire, and it didn't end up turning the Ironblaster at all. Rolled a 5, so he was supposed to turn, but he didn't end up turning anywhere. Okay, at the end of Ogre's Close Combat, 8 impact hits later, the eagle was turned to liquid, and they just reformed. Now going into Wood Elf turn 2. Okay, Wood Elf movement. The Treekin, down here on this side, charged the tower. Had a little shifting of movement here from the Lord. The Tree Man moved up just to kind of be a pest in front of those bulls. And the Dryads just shifted themselves back, trying to put a little distance between them and the Mournfang. Going into magic. Okay, the end of Wood Elf magic. The Lord tried to cast Amber Spear and failed to get the necessary value for the juiced up version, so she was done. But she did have an item, Lamentation of Despair, let her try to take any one enemy model, but that was a bounce spell, and I was able to dispel that with my dice. Going into shooting. In Wood Elf shooting, half the unit was able to shoot and put 2 wounds on the Ironblaster. That's that back unit there of Glade Guard. The front unit just missed trying to take a few shots through there on these Leadbelchers. And the Tree Man shot his Strangleroot attack. He still killed 2 of them, and they failed their rerollable 7 leadership. So they are on their way off the board. Now they're out of the range of the BSB, so that's not good. That's the Butcher and the Bulls in there. Going to go into close combat. Okay, during close combat, my BSB issued a challenge and did some good overkill. They have the Flaming Standard in there, so that did quite a few wounds. He was able to put about 1, I think just 1 of my guys, and I broke him. So he is fleeing and made it about 10 inches away. That was it for close combat. Now we're going to go into turn 3. Okay, so end of Ogre's movement. The Mournfang were able to make a long charge. They needed a 10. They got a 12. Charge into the Dryad, so they're sitting there in combat. The Leadbelchers realize that they've got some passable terrain in front of them with that magic circle, so they're going to have to move around that. The Ogres, the Bulls, and the Butcher actually rallied, so they're kind of far away, but at least they're not off the board. That was pretty awesome. And the Ironblaster moved up, just kind of to the side of those fleeing guys. He's going to try to grape shot in there as much as he can. Come back after magic. During the magic phase, the Butcher cast Bone Crusher irresistibly on the Tree Man, did 1 wound, and he lost 1 wizard level and forgot that spell. So, all in all, a little weird. He wasn't in any range to do any toughness spells. So, going into shooting. During Ogre shooting, the Ironblaster grape-shotted the unit of Glade Guard that was there, but the Lord Girl remained. The Leadbelchers were able to shoot even through cover and put a few wounds on her and finished her off. And the Mournfang used their breath weapon and did 2 casualties to the Dryads over there. Okay, in close combat, the Mournfang did an unbelievable amount of wounds, and those guys are striking last, so just obliterate them and then overran, so they're sitting there. Now we're going to go into Wood Elf turn 4. Okay, end of Wood Elf's movement. The Treekin rallied, and they're kind of just turned around, facing in toward the battle. Glade Guard did not move, and the Tree Man just kind of moved so he's able to use a shooting attack against the guys in the building. Okay, no magic to speak of for the Elves. However, during the shooting phase, some heroics by the Glade Guard down there. Shot and broke out of the building, the Ironguts. And then while the BSB died from breaking, the champion was running away, and the Tree Man was waiting for him and used his Strangleroots attack to kill him. So, gosh, it's kind of now anyone's game. This is the end of turn 4. We're going to roll to see when the game ends. The game did not end going to turn 5. The Ironblaster moved back a little bit just so he couldn't be charged by the Treekin. And he's still within 12 for a grape shot on those guys. My Ogres down here just got basically in a perfect spot so they can... they're hopefully not going to get shot by the Tree Man unless he moves closer, and they still are within the magic circle. And the Mournfang just reformed and are going to get ready to charge. During magic, tried to cast Ruby. It was like a 4 power day, so I tried to do Ruby Ring of Ruin and wasn't able to land any fireballs on the Tree Man. During shooting, the Ironblaster misfired and spun to face this way. Wasn't able to grape shot. He tried to grape shot the Glade Guard back there. And the Leadbelchers did a nice long cover bonus. Need 6s to hit, and were able to kill 2 Glade Guard back there, but not enough to panic them. Going into Wood Elves' turn. During Wood Elf movement, the Glade Guard garrisoned themselves in the building. The Treekin moved here in the middle of the forest to kind of, even though they're showing their flank, they're blocking a charge out the building from the Mournfang. And the Tree Man just shimmied, so he was within 6 of both those units, and also within 6 of the magic circle. No Wood Elves magic that they cared to do. During shooting, both the Tree Man and the Glade Guard up in the tower were able to, they actually got to shoot, the Glade Guard did, because they didn't have to march it in, and they killed 2 bulls and panicked the unit again, who was running away. 7 not rerollable, of course they got the 8. So, no close combat either, going to see if the game ends. The game did not end on a nice roll of a 1, however, odd movement for the Ogres. So, the Butcher and his unit did rally. They're facing this way, that's nice. The Leadbelchers kind of are shimmying sideways around the impassable terrain. The Ironblaster up here is close, and he's going to try to not misfire again. And the Mournfang charged into this forest here and rolled. Got one of the units failed his difficult terrain test, took 5 wounds, which caused a panic right at the edge of the forest, and so they bolted away and are probably going to go right off the board at their 7 leadership. So that was an interesting turn of events. Going into Magic. During Magic, Ruby Ring of Ruin was dispelled, and the rest of the dice went to casting the juiced up version of Toothcracker, which irresistibly cast, put 2 wounds out there on those 2 guys, but those guys have +1 toughness. During shooting, the Ironblaster, I think, cleared away like 5 or 6 guys up there with Grape Shot, and then, while you needed a 7 to hit, these guys still were managed to, the Leadbelchers were able to shoot one of these guys off. However, they passed their panic test with their insano leadership that elves have. And that's it. There's no close combat. So going on to, I think this is turn 7 for the elves. End of elves magic. There was really no magic again. Shooting, both the Tree Man and the Garrison Glade Guard targeted the Leadbelchers and were able to finally pick up one, but they, with their toughness, that helped. They were able to only lose 1 between the 2 of them and made their panic test. So I guess we see if the game ends. Rolled another 1. We're going into turn 8. During my movement, the Ironblaster didn't do anything. He's staying there. The few Ogres and their Butcher moved up, and they're just going to try to do what they can to get those guys out of the damn tower. The Leadbelchers also just are shimmying. Now, when less, they're going to be able to start going around that impassable terrain soon. And the Mournfang made their leadership. Did not run right off the board, so we're all happy there. Okay, during Magic, Ruby Ring of Ruin went off and rolled a 1 for the D6 fireballs and a 1 to wound. Toughness spell was dispelled as well. During shooting, the Leadbelchers weren't able to do any wounds to the guys in the tower, and I guess it was overconfident. The grape shot, I shouldn't have probably grape shotted. It didn't take them out. I suppose if I had charged, I might have been able to kick them out and been closer, because this game's probably definitely going to end. And that's it. That's a pretty quick overturn. Going on to the maybe final Wood Elves turn. End of the Wood Elves shooting and movement, pretty much everything else. Nothing really happened except the same shooting over here on the Ogres. Managed to kill 1. They managed to hold. Those guys roll 7s like crazy. I guess that's basically it. God, I hope to God that that the game doesn't end. Sadly, I couldn't roll another 1, and the Wood Elves stand victorious. In and closest to, even as a backup to the tower. Pretty good game. Lots of crazy rolling.